Hey everyone, my name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is the return of Final Fantasy XI. This song is called Ru'Lude Gardens from the channel Kumi Tanioka, which I'm seeing here is one of the composers. It says music by Naoshi Mizuta, Kumi Tanioka, and Nobuo Matsu. Kind of a short one, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And this is requested by Mushimeri on Patreon. Everything I've heard from Final Fantasy XI has sounded very rich, organic, and very nature-like. And, you know, with a title like Ru'Lude Gardens, that kind of hints at that a little bit more. So, let's see what happens here. I am a fan of 11 soundtrack so far. Let's go. So enchanting. Two violins and a cello? Whatever that percussion is. And yet, it continues to sound very outdoors. Kind of. It's definitely meant to loop a lot, you can tell. Like, that's just meant to cycle over and over and over. Okay. A little bit of a short one, but I got some stuff from that. Obviously, it's very simplistic as just a couple of violins, and I believe the cello going playing the bass. So, while I still do feel that this entire soundtrack so far, or is it thus far? I don't know what the proper term is. I think they're probably both correct. Is that it's, like I've always said, it sounded very outdoors. And I know it's an MMO. So, you know, maybe just a lot of those settings are outdoors. Or maybe it's just more scenery than previous FFs. That's what it feels like. You know, every time I hear stuff like this, I think of like trees, you know, greenery, shrub, autumn, stuff like that. This one, though, kind of sounded like two different things. Obviously, it's a setting, Ru'Lude Gardens. The first thing that came to mind was, now mind you, I did not look it up, so I think this is the word I'm trying to describe. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but to me it sounded a little bit of like a terrarium. I hope I'm using the proper word. What I'm trying to think of is like those sort of outdoor garden-like places that have a glass covering. I don't know, glass, but like a see-through covering. If that's what a terrarium is, then well, whatever that is, that's I kind of saw that. And the reason is this one sounded a little bit more enclosed than the other ones. And specifically, the other half of what I thought was, ironically, also Final Fantasy, was this sounded to me like in FF8 when Renoa meets Squall. You know, just that slow dance section, which is completely indoors. Actually, it's technically in a garden as well. That's funny. But this one definitely gave me like formal wear, chandeliers, like pretty much that exact same setting. But it definitely had the vibe of like a royal sort of, not royal, but you know, elegant dance. And it kind of was the closest it came to pushing me out of that typical setting that I usually get. I have yet to see footage from this game. I've only had a thumbnail from a previous video where it was like all white and it had some couple of shots of outside. So I don't know what 11 looks like. I'm assuming it's probably somewhat close to 14. I've seen 14 on the channel, right? Just walking around, cameras far away. I assume it's an MMO, right? That's what you do in an MMO. But who knows, really, right? Did I already share the story about me owning FF11? I think I did. I don't remember. But it's just funny because whenever FF11 comes around, it just always brings me back to when I got, was it a PS2? Yeah, my PS2. You know, to go online, you had to get the network adapter. And I still have that PS2 somewhere. And I'm pretty sure I probably told the story before, but just in case. But it reminds me every time FF11 comes on. And in order for me to get that network adapter, back when the days of online play was free, it came with FF11. So I still have an unopened PS2 version of FF11. Now, I don't think that's worth anything these days because FF11, I mean, Final Fantasy, even back then, I even knew that name. So, but I'm always curious, and I never looked it up. I never, because I don't want to like disappoint myself. But I am somewhat curious. I wonder like what that goes for, or if that's gonna mean anything at some point. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It just reminds me every time that there's still an unopened FF11 that I've owned for years. So technically, I've owned a Final Fantasy game way before the Auditorium even was a thing, back in the days of PS2. And I remember specifically why I got that. It was to play SOCOM 2. Good times. I missed that game. Anyways, Ru'Lude Gardens. Also, Kumi Tanioka. That sounds kind of familiar. Maybe I've checked them out in a previous 11 song. I just feel like I've heard the name Kumi. I don't know. Let me know. But of course, let me know where this plays. I know people still play this game and it still has a following. People in the comments from the other 11 videos are like, I still play this, I still love it, and you know, 14 could never, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. But it's just crazy that it's still going. Kind of makes you think that 14 is probably going to go on for like 20, 30 years. Probably even longer, who knows. Anywho, let me know. That was cool. I like violins. I'm a big fan. But that's pretty much all I got. A terrarium and also a fancy dance at the end of a dinner or something. Not very outdoorsy, but both were sort of enclosed. So, thank you, Mushimori. And thanks to everyone that you see here. I cannot be here without them. Thanks to you for watching. My name is Jesse in the Auditorium. Take it easy.